Ignore them until they lose control, the Stoic secrets most people never learn. Stoic mindset. There is a kind of power most people never discover. Not the power of fighting back. Not the power of arguing louder. Not the power of proving yourself to everyone who doubts you. It is the power of silence. The power of stillness. The power of complete, deliberate, unshakable indifference. When you master this, something extraordinary happens. The people who tried to provoke you start to unravel. The ones who wanted your reaction start to doubt themselves. The ones who counted on your chaos discover they are standing alone in theirs. You did not fight them. You did not confront them. You simply ignored them, completely, until they lost control of themselves. This is not weakness. This is not avoidance. This is one of the most advanced weapons in Stoic philosophy. And today we are going to break it down completely. 7 Secrets. 7 Truths the Stoics discovered about the power of strategic silence and deliberate indifference. Truths that will change how you move through every difficult relationship, every hostile environment, every person who tries to destabilize you. Before we begin, if you are new here, subscribe to Stoic Mindset right now. Every week we go deep into the philosophy and practice that builds people who cannot be broken. Hit that subscribe button and join thousands of people who are choosing a different way to live. Now let's begin. Stoic Secret 1: Your silence is louder than their noise. Most people believe that responding is strength. They think that if someone attacks them and they say nothing, they lost. They think silence means acceptance. Silence means weakness. Silence means they have nothing to say. The Stoics knew the opposite was true. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change. But if no proof is forthcoming, I shall not change my mind." Notice the complete absence of urgency. He is not scrambling to defend himself. He is not firing back with equal aggression. He is simply unmoved. Here is the psychological reality behind silence. When you respond to provocation, you confirm that the provocation reached you. You confirm that their words had enough power to penetrate your world and demand a response. You hand them evidence that they matter to your inner life. But when you say nothing, when you simply look at them with calm eyes and return to what you were doing, you communicate something far more devastating than any comeback could. You communicate that they are simply not significant enough to disturb you. And nothing destabilizes a person trying to get a rise out of you more than the realization that they simply do not register. The provocateur needs your reaction the way fire needs oxygen. Withdraw the oxygen. Watch what happens to the fire. Your silence is not emptiness. It is a statement. The most powerful statement you will ever make without opening your mouth. Stoic Secret 2: What they do to you reveals everything about them. When someone attacks you, dismisses you, belittles you, or tries to undermine you, the instinct is to make it about yourself. What did I do wrong? What is wrong with me? Why do they treat me this way? And that inward spiral is exactly where they want you. Confused. Self-doubting. Diminished. But the Stoics understood something that changes everything. The way a person treats you is a direct projection of their own internal world. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." He did not write this to make himself bitter. He wrote it to free himself from taking their behavior personally. Think about it clearly. A person who is genuinely at peace does not need to attack others. A person who is truly confident does not need to tear others down. A person who is satisfied with their own life does not spend their energy trying to disturb yours. Their aggression is a confession. Their cruelty is a mirror showing you their pain. Their attempts to control you reveal how out of control they feel inside. When you understand this, something shifts. You stop feeling wounded by them. You start feeling something closer to clarity. Because you can see exactly what is happening. They are not attacking you. They are drowning. And they are grabbing at whatever is nearby. The Stoic does not jump into the water after them. The Stoic stands on solid ground, calm, dry, and completely clear about what they are witnessing. What they do to you says nothing about your worth. It says everything about their wounds. Stoic Secret 3, Attention is currency. Stop spending it on people who don't deserve it. Every moment you spend thinking about someone who has wronged you, you are paying them. Not with money. With something far more valuable. Your time. Your mental energy. Your focus. Your peace. And most people spend years, sometimes their entire lives, paying people who hurt them long ago. Replaying conversations. Rehearsing arguments. Imagining what they should have said. Fantasizing about revenge or recognition or apology. All of it is spending your most precious resource on people who probably are not thinking about you at all. Seneca was blunt about this: we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The actual event, the argument, the betrayal, the dismissal, may have lasted minutes. But the mental replaying of it can last decades. And every replay is a choice. Every time you return to that wound, you are making a decision to keep it open. The Stoic practice here is radical and simple. Withdraw your attention completely. Not out of bitterness. Not as punishment toward them. But as an act of profound self-respect. Your attention is your life. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Every second you spend in the mental theater of someone who wronged you is a second stolen from your own becoming. The Stoic does not have the luxury of obsession. There is too much to build. Too much to learn. Too much to become. When you withdraw your attention from people who do not deserve it, you are not losing anything. You are reclaiming everything. Stoic Secret 4, the person who needs no validation cannot be controlled. Here is the fundamental mechanism behind almost every form of social manipulation. It works on people who need to be seen a certain way. People who need to be liked. People who need approval. People who need validation from others to feel secure in themselves. Once someone identifies that need in you, they own you. They can threaten your reputation. They can withdraw their approval. They can make you feel excluded, criticized, or invisible. And you will bend. You will comply. You will change yourself to get it back. This is the oldest form of control in human history. And most people are completely unaware it is happening to them every day. Epictetus dismantled this with characteristic precision. He said, "Seek not the good in external things, seek it in yourself." The person who has found their worth within themselves, who has built their identity on their own values, their own standards, their own judgment, cannot be controlled this way. You cannot threaten someone with disapproval if they do not require your approval. You cannot manipulate someone with exclusion if they are complete within themselves. You cannot destabilize someone whose foundation is internal. This is why the Stoics placed such enormous emphasis on self-knowledge. Not as a philosophical exercise. As a practical defense. When you know who you are, truly, deeply, without needing anyone to confirm it, you become immune to the most common weapons used against you. The manipulator reaches for the lever. And finds it is not there. Building this kind of self-knowledge is the work of a lifetime. But every step toward it is a step out of reach of everyone who would seek to control you. Stoic Secret 5, responding to every attack is a form of slavery. There is a kind of person who prides themselves on never letting anything slide. Someone disrespects them, they respond immediately. Someone questions them, they defend loudly. Someone challenges them, they engage every single time. They call it standing up for themselves. The Stoics would call it something else entirely. Epictetus, who literally knew what slavery felt like, said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." Every time you feel compelled to respond, ask yourself honestly. Am I responding because it serves me? Or am I responding because I simply cannot help it? If you cannot help it, you are not free. You are leashed. And whoever holds the other end of that leash controls where you go, what you say, and how you feel at any given moment. The truly free person chooses their battles with absolute deliberateness. They do not respond out of reflex. They do not engage out of ego. They move when moving serves a purpose, and they remain still when stillness is the wiser choice. Most of the time, stillness is the wiser choice. Think about the battles you have fought in the past year. How many of them actually needed to be fought? How many were simply your ego refusing to be quiet? How many drained you, distracted you, and pulled you away from what actually mattered? The Stoic measures every engagement against one question. Does this serve my values and my growth? If no, the Stoic does not engage. Not because they cannot. Because they have chosen not to waste their freedom on someone else's chaos. There is no greater display of inner power than the deliberate choice not to respond. It says, I am not your puppet. I am not your audience. And I am certainly not your slave. Stoic Secret 6, Time is the greatest revealer, let it work. When someone wrongs you, the pressure to act immediately is immense. To respond. To confront. To correct the record. To get justice now. Most people act from this pressure and almost always regret it. They say things they cannot take back. Make enemies they did not need to make. Burn bridges that did not need to be burned. And for what? To feel better for a moment. To scratch the itch of immediate justice. The Stoics counseled something radically different. Marcus Aurelius returned again and again to the theme of time as a purifier. He observed how great controversies, things that seemed catastrophic in the moment, were forgotten completely within a generation. How people who seemed unstoppable in their rise collapsed eventually under the weight of their own character. How things that needed no intervention corrected themselves simply because time was allowed to pass. He wrote, how many a Chrysippus, how many a Socrates, how many an Epictetus, how many others like them, time has already swallowed up. In other words, everything passes. Every enemy. Every injustice. Every pain. Every person who tried to destroy you. Time does not just heal wounds. Time reveals character. The person who wronged you, their true nature will eventually be visible to everyone around them. You do not need to expose them. You do not need to warn everyone. You do not need to campaign against them. You simply need to keep moving, building, growing, becoming, while time does what it has always done. The Stoic trusts in the long arc. Not because they are passive. But because they are wise enough to know that many battles are already being won by time, if you have the patience to let it work. Step back. Stay quiet. Keep building. And watch what time reveals. Stoic Secret 7, your growth is the most devastating response. We have arrived at the final secret. And it is perhaps the most powerful of all. When someone tries to diminish you, what is the most devastating thing you can do? Not argue. Not attack. Not expose them. Become undeniable. This is the Stoic's ultimate weapon. Not a weapon of destruction, but of transformation. Every person who ever dismissed you, doubted you, or tried to hold you back gave you something without meaning to. They gave you fuel. The question is whether you burn it wastefully, in anger, in obsession, in bitterness. Or whether you channel it into something that cannot be argued with. Marcus Aurelius was told he was too philosophical to be a great emperor. He became one of the greatest leaders in Roman history. Epictetus was told that a slave could never produce wisdom worth preserving. His teachings have outlasted every empire that existed in his lifetime. Seneca was exiled, stripped of his wealth, and ultimately ordered to die. His words are still being read 2,000 years later. None of them argued with their doubters. None of them waited for apologies. None of them needed the people who dismissed them to change their minds. They simply grew. Relentlessly. Quietly. Powerfully. Until their existence was itself the answer to every question ever raised about them. This is what it means to ignore them completely. Not just silence. Not just withholding your reaction. But pouring everything that would have gone into fighting them, into building yourself instead. Your growth is the response. Your becoming is the answer. Your life, lived fully, built deliberately, rooted in unshakable values, is the most devastating thing you can offer to everyone who ever bet against you. They wanted your collapse. Give them your rise. 7 Secrets. The power of silence. The revelation of their wounds. The reclamation of your attention. The freedom of needing no validation. The refusal to be enslaved by reaction. The patience to let time work. And the devastating power of becoming. This is what the Stoics understood that most people in the modern world have forgotten. You do not win by fighting everyone. You win by being unmovable while everyone else exhausts themselves fighting. You do not grow by defending yourself to people who do not want to understand you. You grow by turning away from them completely and pouring everything into what actually matters. You do not prove your worth by waiting for others to recognize it. You prove it by building a life that cannot be denied. The world will always have people who want to provoke you. People who want your reaction. Your pain. Your collapse. From this day forward, they get nothing. Not your anger. Not your attention. Not your time. Not your peace. You ignore them completely. You build relentlessly. And you let your life speak in a language too loud for anyone to talk over. If this resonated with you, please subscribe to Stoic Mindset right now. Every week we go deeper into the philosophy, the mindset, and the daily discipline that builds people who cannot be broken. Hit subscribe. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Leave a comment below, tell me which of these secrets hit you the hardest. I will see you in the next one. Stay stoic.